Miles and miles of just beautiful, gorgeous sand, pure white. The sea is lovely. Paradise. Absolute paradise.
Welcome back to the channel. We're Dan and Stephen, and we've lived and travelled full time in our little VW campervan since 2021. We gave up our lives of old to enjoy more time together, to see and experience new things, and to try a different way of life. Because frankly, you never know what's around the corner. For all the risks and sacrifices, however, and believe us, there are many, we are so glad we took the leap, however long it may last. This week we venture further into Portugal and discover miles of pristine golden sands on the west coast. So sit back, relax, and come along, dear. But first up, a hunt for LPG gas, which is always traumatic, followed by that old favourite, a supermarket sleepover.
We finally found somewhere, and we have found a Lidl where we needed to do a bit of shopping. But check out this really glamorous hotspot that we're staying in tonight. Just amazing views of the busy road. Well, actually also our dirty windscreen. And it is really noisy and a lot of traffic. And directly behind us, it's just a parking lot for the supermarket. You can't quite see, with Lidl right behind us. Over there is a Continent, is it, Stephen? I think it's another supermarket, and I think there's toilets and other bits and bobs in there, which is good. I think there's a toilet in the Lidl as well. So yeah, not the most glamorous spot, but sometimes it does. We're tired, we've been running around, and we left quite late anyway, so it will do us a job for the night. And more importantly, we're actually really grateful because we've noticed a few times around here that supermarkets do let you stay. Not all of them, but some of them have. This is designated motorhome spots. There's about 5 or 6 of them. So you're allowed to stay here. It's all fine. You feel safe and you feel, you know, like you don't have to worry. And you never get that in the UK. I don't recall any supermarket where they allow motorhomes just 5 spots or anything like that. And that would really, really help, to be honest. Main road. Bridge to the other supermarket, garage. It's convenient and it doesn't always have to be pretty. Sometimes it's just got to be practical. So it's perfectly fine. Neither of us are really bothered by noise. I think a lot of people wouldn't like it because there is a huge amount of noise and we're right sort of in the city here. But yeah, it's all good. So as you can see, you probably can't hear it, but there is a lot of traffic and it goes the other way as well. It's probably calming down a bit now. But there's a couple of other people here, which always makes you feel a bit better. This is why, you know, you can't always have the pretty sights. Sometimes a lay-by or a car park is what does the job. And tonight, that's exactly what it's done. And also the trade-off for that is that often there's conveniences nearby. So, you know, you've got to weigh up the options sometimes. Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon now, isn't it? It's afternoon. Good afternoon. So we've left the Lidl that we've been inhabiting for a couple of nights, and we are on our way now to a place called, is it Sagres, Stephen? Am I saying it right? I'm almost certainly not. Sagres. So this place is pretty much the most south-westerly point in Portugal, in fact possibly in all of mainland Europe. I'm pretty sure it is, but I will double check those facts. So we're going to go there. It looks like a really interesting place, and it kind of like, you know, a bit like Cornwall, not in the terms of how it looks, but in that sense of it's the end of the country, and it in just 600 meters. So in the sense that we're at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean and you'll just be staring at miles and miles and miles of ocean basically until, you know, the Americas presumably. So should be a nice little interesting point to go to before we head up north basically. We're not going to have too much time in Portugal, and we are going to, when we get back into France, we are going to stop and see a family member actually, so that'll be towards the end of the trip. But we're hoping to explore a little bit of Portugal on the way up.
Exit the roundabout onto N125.
She has to pipe up, doesn't she?
Continue on N125 for 1.5 kilometres.
Anything else? Anything else? Other than that, we're going to see what Sagres has got and go and explore it. And if it's no good, we'll move on to somewhere else. And that's it.
In 600 metres.
She's going to keep talking, so I'm shutting up.
We then went to stay in yet another supermarket, but this one felt a bit strange, so we moved straight on to Sagres.
fort, Stephen, or however it's
Go
pronounced?
on then.
Shall we tell you some facts?
Enthrall me.
Okay, so it was built in the 1500s, and at one point in 1587, Sir Francis Drake actually attacked the fort, all to do with the Spanish Armada, of course, which was at England. And actually, we weren't at war with Portugal, but at that time, Portugal was under Spanish control. Hence the connection, hence why we ended up sort of, I don't know what happened. I think we kind of ransacked this place and other areas were hit.
That sounds very unlike the English, Daniel.
Oh, I know, it does, doesn't it? I mean, when do we ever raid things and take over? It just never happens. So basically it's a fort designed to kind of protect the area, and it's actually, all it needed was one wall, because of course the cliffs either side effectively protect it elsewhere, so it didn't need four walls. So fun facts for you there. Right, do we want to know some more fun facts about the fort?
Go on
I
then.
think we do. So, in the 1700s, this was actually devastated by a massive earthquake. So, a lot of it was rebuilt in the 20th century, but a lot of it was devastated. There's only a few original things. However, the earthquake didn't actually damage it itself. What happened was the earthquake caused a tsunami, which the waves were so big, they actually came over these cliffs, which are about 60 metres high, and managed to wreck a lot of the fort that way. That's pretty staggering to think that for one thing, obviously this place does get earthquakes, you know, just a reminder it doesn't happen that often, but it still can happen. And two, these cliffs are really high, so the fact that this earthquake must have been pretty bad for these waves to come over the cliff and actually cause some damage with it. So kind of staggering information there.
Sagres is also known as the end of the world due to being mainland Europe's most southwesterly point, but also because it was one of the last discovered and explored places by the Romans. Sadly, the fort was closed that day, but we got a good impression of its once historical importance whilst taking in the dramatic landscape it sits upon.
Good morning. I've just woken up, which is pretty obvious. So we just got up. We did check into a campsite last night. We forgot to film it. Really nice, really cute little place in a little town, not far from the fort we were at yesterday. What we're going to do today, after we've had a bit of breakfast, just put the kettle on for a cup of tea. We're going to make some headway up the west coast because we've only got about 2 weeks left now. We've extended our trip by a week, but because we lost so much time due to the accident, we are going to we're going to have to skip a fair bit of Portugal, to be honest. So we're going to make some way towards Lisbon, not actually going to Lisbon, but somewhere just south of that, which should give us a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours driving, I think. So yeah, that's the plan. But it's a really lovely campsite. Going to grab a shower this morning. Oh, shower, can't wait. Quite reasonable prices in Portugal actually for the campsites. €10 with electric hookup. You'll never get that back home, not usually. And in Spain it seems to be more expensive as well. Sorry, now I'm just talking with my mouth full. Sinks to wash up. Obviously got shower and toilets. We have noticed with Portugal campsites that you often then have to pay extra for the shower and for the toilet. And usually a 50 cents coin to use the toilet. And then €1 for however many minutes in the shower. So it does work out more, but still on balance overall, I would say it seems to be a bit cheaper here than it would be back home and be in Spain, basically. So yeah, this apple is huge, by the way. I've never bloody seen an apple this big. Okay, and by the way, this is probably the most English thing anyone can come out with, but we've really struggled to find a decent tea bag since we've been in Portugal, because we just ran out as we left Spain. And we thought Lidl would be fine, and weirdly the first one had nothing, and then the second one we found, it did have some, but honestly they're the grossest tea bags you've ever tried. It's the most horrible tea, and we're not that fussy with tea. Like, we have ours quite weak, we put quite a bit of milk in it. Yeah, these were awful, so it's one of those things, a bit like a good bag of chips that we've kind of missed. Well, we haven't missed it because we had tea bags, but we are now missing the tea because this is awful. But yeah, does a job, caffeine in the morning of sorts, and sometimes you just don't want coffee as the first drink because it's a bit strong. Sometimes tea will only do. Okay, so we've left the campsite, we've left that little area, and we are now heading up to, obviously we went to Lidl and did our shopping. We're going to a place called Comporta, is it, Steve? I don't know. Comporta, I think it is, and it's like a big peninsula, and the town of Comporta is at the bottom of it, so it's kind of just south of Lisbon. And the guy we were chatting to, really friendly in the campsite next to us, he recommended it basically. We can't actually remember where he said to go, but it looks like the whole peninsula is worth exploring, and we found what looks like a little free air right by the town of Comporta, and apparently the beach here is really amazing, so can't wait to do that, because it'd be nice to get in another swim or two before we start heading back north. So yeah, that's where we're off to, Comporta. We're in the little town of Comporta. Something like that. We found an aire, it looks brilliant, loads of space, which was great. All the facilities that you need from something like that, free, amazing. And I think it's about a 20-minute walk into the town or to the beach. So we're going to have a quick look now just to get our bearings, and then we're going to properly explore tomorrow, go to the beach and have a bit of a hike. I'm filming you and it looks like you've just kind of descended from heaven, Stephen. That there's a star on top of your head. You're an angel.
An angle?
You're an angle.
Yay. Daniel, how's your wine?
My wine is, it's empty, it's gone. That's how my wine is.
You must have enjoyed it.
I did. It's very bright here, I'm facing the sunshine, but this is a lovely little place. Alright.
No more.
Then.
No, get on with your cooking.
No, top me up.
No, you have to cook.
I want this first.
No more wine.
I can't do it unless I've had several glasses of wine.
No more wine.
I'm just not capable.
No, you haven't earned it yet.
Well, then I'll just shut down. My body will shut down.
Alright then.
Alright, bye. We'll both starve.
Bye.
See ya. Okay, so we are going to attempt. We've got some bacalhau. We got it frozen, but I think that's fine. And it was easier for us because we weren't sure how to buy the dried version because it was massive and there was no one to help us. It was a bit confusing basically. So we got some frozen version, just a little bit because we only wanted to try a little bit of it. So we got some bacalhau, and I'm going to attempt to make like a seafood stew with some bacalhau in it. I haven't looked up a recipe. I have no idea. I don't know if this is going to work. We also had a pint in the pub earlier on. Not the pub, but the bar. Sound like I'm back home now. And I've had 2 glasses of wine. So let's see how this turns out. Right, so Steve's just poured me another glass of wine. We will get this done. So it's just going to be like this, what's it called again? What's that fish?
Cod.
Bacalhau. Bacalhau. So it's bacalhau with some other seafood mixed in a kind of tomato stew, which we're going to have with some bread. I've had another glass of wine because Stephen's poured me one, and it's all going to turn out absolutely fine. So let's just keep going, yeah? I would also like to add that we actually don't have a massive pan either, so in order to make this stew, as we're going to call it, we use this giant frying pan because it serves us really well for cooking absolutely everything in. But now I'm kind of like, this is where I really wish we had a higher, deeper saucepan. We do have a saucepan, but it's too small.
I think that bit was supposed to go in it.
Oh, was it? Well, it's better to drink it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is why you should research things first, because this fish, I don't know if it's the bones or if it's the toughness of the skin. I'm really struggling to chop it up. Maybe it's not defrosted properly. This is like the worst cookery thing ever, to be honest. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be really delicious.
We're getting eaten.
We're getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I couldn't cut the codfish properly. Codfish? The cod bacalhau.
I'm getting the lavender out because it's just going to...
And now we're covering ourselves in lavender oil before we've even done anything else. I've got to cook dinner. We've got to put the bed up. Come on, there's no time for this.
In your head.
Oh, give me some. You put the bed up and we'll just have more wine and everything will cook itself.
Next week I'm going along with...
a bit of telly, we've made our seafood stew, we've used the bacalhau, or however you say it, and it's actually been really successful, so we're really happy with that. It's been a really nice little meal, really hearty, full of seafood, beans and tomatoes and other vegetables.
I don't like seafood very much, but this was lovely.
Exactly, he hates seafood and he actually liked it, so this is brilliant.
This is my second bowl.
Morning, Steve. Are you ready for the beach?
Oh, I'm melting.
So hang on, when we say morning, what time actually is it?
It's 2:20.
Oh God. Well, we best get a move on.
Which is morning somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Hey, listen up, I've tried to tell you this 100 times. Not getting better by lying there pretending to cry. You on repeat, you can see, cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. I've tried to help you, but you keep reading between.
I would like to add that I have no idea how to use these. I've just been making it up.
Right, so today has been a bit of a late start, to say the least. And we've decided what we're going to do, because we slept in and it's been really hot and it took us ages to get going. I've just been for a run, come back, and I ran to the beach just to figure out how far it is, and it's not very far. So what we're going to do is go to the beach, have a bit of a beach day, have a little trek along the beach, nothing too strenuous, just walk, but it goes for miles, sand in either direction. It looks stunning, so we're gonna walk there, maybe have a swim, maybe a paddle, see what we feel like, and we're probably going to spend another night here before heading off early tomorrow to our next stop. So I think that's what the plan is. Stephen's making us a little baguette because, you know, in the interest of trying to save a few pennies, take some lunch with us. So we're using up some old cheese in the fridge and a baguette before it goes stale, of which there's only half of one left now.
He's been nibbling it.
I have been nibbling it, but there's enough left to make a baguette out of, and we're going to take a few little snacky bits. And that's it. So we'll see you at the beach. Old car park, it's massive, but and there's a few spots for motorhomes and campers. Some are parked over there. I don't know if you're actually allowed to or not, but to be honest, it's a 10-minute walk from where we are. We're at the free air in the village. The air's got services, even toilets, so to be honest, that is a much better option, I think, as long as you're happy just to walk 10 minutes, which is, you know, really easy, to the beach. So, you know, you could come down here, but I think we made the right choice, don't you?
Yeah, I'm happy where we are.
It's
We've got
much better.
toilets and things.
Waves are really unpredictable. Like suddenly three will come at once and then nothing, and you really have to keep your guard about you, don't you, when you're out there, because it's like they're enough to sort of take you under, and you can't quite always know when it's going to happen, but you're always up to no more than waist height unless you go out quite far, so that's quite good. So you can still swim enough, but when you actually put your feet down there's always ground, which is nice. So yeah, lovely.
at it.
Nice.
Miles and miles of just beautiful, gorgeous sand, pure white. The sea is lovely, and it's the same in the other direction as well. We've just moved away from where some of the people are, but oh my gosh, you can have this entire stretch to yourself. Look! Okay, so we're going to head back now. Wow, won't forget this place in a hurry, I don't think. Just miles of nothing. Obviously, there's lots of people back there, you know. We just walked from there. That's where we went swimming earlier. But there's not that many people, and the beach is so big that you can just find anywhere and be surrounded by nothing but the sand and the sea and the dunes behind you. I can't get over how good this is. So it looks quite far, but it's not really. There's just like a 10-minute walk back there, and then we go inland another 10 minutes, and we'll be back in the van in 20 minutes. It's not bad at all, so I'd highly recommend this place. Comporta, it's called, Comporta Beach. Sure, that's not how you say it, but I'll put it there anyway. And it is often rated as one of the best beaches in Portugal, and sometimes in the world, depending on what article you read, you know, on the internet. But if you Google it, you'll find lots of information on this beach, and it's well worth going to. Paradise, absolute paradise.
And that's where we'll leave you this week. If you enjoyed the vlog, give it a like and consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'd love you to come along on our journey. Join us next week for more Portuguese adventures in our camper van. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.